7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Damn. Now I know. Now I know. Drippy. Now I know that you know. Now I know that you know. Drippy. And I know. Now I know that you broke. I can see it in your damn face. And I see everything me and you. That's what it could be. And I've grown. Letting go, meant to look the other fucking way. I've never known. No one said that love would hurt this much. And I know that you broke. I can see it in your damn face. And I see everything me and you. That's what it could be. And I've grown. Letting go, meant to look the other fucking way. I've never known. No one said that love would hurt this much. Too much on my mind, finna change up. Life was never normal, couldn't blame us. Get to sneezing every time they bring my name up. Do it right, never wrong, that's how they raised us. If he wrong, call him out and get him flamed up. Me and Fape from the dirt, we never gave up. Ain't gon' stop till I make it fucking famous. Me and gang out the way the pain changed us.
And I ain't know, mama told me watch we call your friends. Hella weird shit going on, but she said don't ever let it bring you down. It was some tests, but you gon' score higher. Yeah, we flyer. Everybody wanna be around us like we famous. Yeah, they mad that we really made for greatness. Couldn't contest, yeah, they really couldn't phase us. Thank God for all this patience. Hard to be in my position, you couldn't take it. Yeah, we come from the land, I can't explain it. And I know that we ain't never ever gonna stop till we reach the top. And I swear we ain't gon' flop, we ain't no mops.
And I know that you broke. I can see it in your damn face. And I see everything me and you. That's what it could be. And I've grown. Letting go, meant to look the other fucking way. I've never known. No one said that love would hurt this much. And I know that you broke. I can see it in your damn face. And I see everything me and you. That's what it could be. And I've grown. Letting go, meant to look the other fucking way. I've never known. No one said that love would hurt this much.
Well, and I'm gonna say welcome to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. And I'm telling you that this is the year of 2026. Now, isn't it a shame that you really didn't understand this thing called freedom? Oh my goodness, Legionnaire's disease is on its way. Well, what can I say? We just have to be careful about what it is we're doing in the year of 2026 because it's true. You know, COVID happened and we lost so many people around the world. All around the world, we lost people all around the world. And the truth is that we really are not aware of what caused the, pandemic, but it happened. So here we are, living in America, trying to understand where do we stand. Because it is about where we stand, not who we stand with. So many people just have chosen not to allow their feelings to be, they don't want anybody to know how they think. So they probably wouldn't join in the conversation. But I put out, I'm going to do a Zoom. Come on in Zoom on July 27th, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And I figure we should have a conversation. That is, who's we? The Negro people, the colored folk, them folk. The folk that have been here for years as we're Americans. And, what is the value of citizenship? Well, you're going to find out, boo. Certainly you're going to find out because you're going to understand that it is your voice that counts. and it is we the people. And as long as we the people have been here, I can say we can't measure what is considered the maintenance of effort. What did they do to help you get to where you needed to get? Because public education is just mandatory. Huh. A lot of people say, oh, no, it's not. And I'm telling you, it is. Because if you don't get in it and complete it by the time you should complete it, well, you just get a certificate of completion. That just acknowledges that you were there. You didn't necessarily do what you should have done in order to get out. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. It is not the game of Monopoly. However, it is the game of life. That's right. And so, on, life goes on with or without you. And it matters who you're with. Mm-hmm. So, here we are, living in the year of 2026, and it is July, meaning that it is the 7th month of the year. And I'm saying, okay, and they want to celebrate 250 years of America. And I said, well, how far have we come? What is the value of that letter grade of F they so frequently give out? And why is it that Nevada has behavioral high schools? And I'm just trying to understand. Because in America, we have special education. And it's like being at Burger King, but it's not what they want to give you, but it's what you need. And it's the way you need it. And I'm saying, so many people, I don't understand. As freedom was never free. But who are you? And understand, I know who I am. Yes, I do. And so, therefore, it is we, not just me. And it is we the people who understand who we are. And therefore, we will get what we need to get in the year of 2026. You know, my theme song is going to come on in a little bit. Because, you know,
better, too cold for sweaters. Nah, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for sweaters. Nah, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. I think they mad that I said something. Ugly nigga for ransom. But my brother's alright. I'm tryna be a provider. Where I'm from is all violent. Safer to keep silent. It's hard for me to choose you. Scare my life would abuse you. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just tryna be better. Too cold for a sweater. Learn there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. And I can't wait to tell my mama that I made it. Man, I'm tired of the stressing and I'm tired of this fake shit. I see the vision, say there ain't no being lazy. Gotta wake up early morning, yeah, the money never waiting. My mama showed them different, we ain't worried about you bitches. Stack your dreams, travel far, bad, but she mentioned I pray my love a better way in 7 days. Cause the people in my city really steady, acting shady. R.I.P. dope boy, ain't get to make it through. Man, I'm truly scarred, why it had to be you. Do it on your own, now you had to lose your life. We just finna make it out, see it back and catch a flight. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just tryna be better. Too cold for a sweater. Learn there's no forever. We on the search for better. We We on search for better. For better. Keep it real, I don't know who to trust. They love you when you down, but they hate you when you up. Hey, you my brother, but you stealing from me blood. I just deep shit, now I gotta like a trust. Shit been welling on me, though for real. Ever since my brother died, mama said I need to chill. Baby, take your time, I promise you gotta heal. I just push her to the side, but I still feel it still. I've been hurting, broke past, got me spurging. New mask, I've been purging. Glizzy cocked back, got my mind set on murder. Got my mind set on murder. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. There's no forever. We on search for better. We on search for better. For better.
So, here we are, living in America, and America has just celebrated 250 years of its becoming one nation under God. You do realize the only thing you ever learned in elementary school, if you learned it at all, was the Pledge of Allegiance. It goes something like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, unto the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for Darlene Anderson. Now get that. I've been fighting my whole life for liberty and justice. And I realized I didn't necessarily have that when I had my children. My oldest one, well, he was just gifted in gait. I don't know what that is, but gifted in gait means, GT, gifted in gait. And in the state of California, he had all kind of opportunities. He was in Mesa, Math and Science and Engineering at the university. He was reading at the college level in the 8th grade. And, it was problematic because his teachers really wanted to know why he was in their class, because I wanted him to be in that class. Which class? I wanted him to be in the advanced reading or advanced English. And she wanted to know why he was really there. She didn't understand. He was there because I put him there. But she wanted him to beg for her services as if she wasn't already getting paid. No. I took him out of her class. I took him out of her class, and I put him in the office. That's what I put him in the office, and so he just ran messages until the end of the school year, because we ain't gonna play that shit. Public education is mandatory. Reading, writing, arithmetic is critical. You gotta understand. You must comprehend the King's English. Because if you don't comprehend the King's English, I promise you, you're not going very far. And that's just real. So, why is it that across this nation, accountability is at zero? What'd you say, girl? I said accountability is at zero. Can you imagine that? Zero. And for who? For people who look like you, boo. That's where it ends. The rubber meets the road. But failure was never an option for me. No, my stepfather was in the Air Force. He was in the United States Air Force. And I got to travel the world. That's right, we lived in Texas. We lived in Japan. We lived in California. We lived in New Jersey. Hell, we lived in Michigan. You just really don't understand. And every time my dad got, moved from base to base, well, we were just, moved from base to base. That's where it was. Resume. I don't even know. It wasn't really recording. I was wondering why it wasn't recording. I didn't see no lines moving. Because you have to pay attention. Otherwise, there'll be blank spaces in your, you know. And this is a tool. Most people don't even understand the benefit of the tool. But you see, I do. My children are all adults. I don't need to, you know. But you need to understand, as I'm using this tool to engage you, you are the listener. But hey, it's all about the harvest, boo. Ching, ching, ching. You know what I'm saying? Human capital. Microsoft called it first. And they enjoy calling it too. And now, they just want you to subscribe. Boo, I don't care. Everybody wants you to subscribe, like, share. Do something. Because it's the narrative, boo. Some people can't handle the everyday noise. And the chatter just happens. But you need to understand what chatter is. It's consistent. But it matters. Will you go this way or will you go that way? It matters who's listening. There are just so many senior citizens living here in Las Vegas. And I'm just trying to understand, you know, the money could go in, but you have to put these people to real volunteering, you know, opportunities, AARP. You know, it does give you a stipend, and it doesn't affect the money that you get as you are a retiree. And you know, since Nevada's paying such low wages, very low wages, that extra $200 or $300 for a stipend would be beneficial to so many people, but most people don't even understand that it exists. But I'm just trying to understand my brother's keeper, because see, it's different here. They don't provide any data to the federal government as to the benefit of the Obama program. Maybe because it was an Obama program that they figured that they could just do whatever the fuck they want to do and not have to benefit the children. But, oh, you know what the issue is? They're giving all these not-for-profits few pennies to go and help the children. And they're feeling like they're doing something wonderful. But, boo, are you doing something wonderful or are you not? If we can't really assess these children to determine, are they at grade level proficiency? I mean, can they read and write? I'm trying to understand why we paying all these folks all this money and we ain't got no data. What is data, boo? Data is everything, but you didn't know. So anyways, I figured that we should have these talks. So July 27th, on my Zoom. Come on and Zoom. Come on and Zoom. I did an invitation and I posted it. Now, I don't know if you'll actually be able to see it out there, but I'm going to post it out there several times, giving people time to sign up and register. Oh, I didn't do the registration questions. That's what I'm going to have to do. Because, you know, I want to know what you think. I want to know who you are. I want to, you know, trolls will be in the room because it's a public meeting. Come on, trolls. Hey for the trolls. Yep, that's right. Troll me, troll me, troll me. I don't even know what to say. It is real. People follow you in there to do what? I mean, my children are grown. And you need to understand, if you need to get children over the threshold, I mean, if they need to be able to read, you need to understand there's a pathway that they all must follow. That's right. You know, the sight words and, you know, all that good shit. And you don't even understand. There's a process to reading. But, Captain Underpants was awesome. Because once my son could visualize Captain Underpants and the squirting ketchup packages, he thought it was just hilarious. And he just loved to read. And I would just take him over there to, you know, buy some books. And he would just, it was $40 and $50 every time. And I would buy the books because he loved to read. And reading is just fundamental. You get it? Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. That is the hip hop song. hmm But, here we are living in America. hmm Hell, we are living in America with all these special tools. Look, I got tools. I'll show you. Let me see. Check mark. I gotta check it. You gotta check first. It ain't dry. Correct, that's correct. And a crow. And then I can make the people laugh. Are y'all out there? Are you laughing? Get in there and laugh, I say. Laugh. But I'm afraid we don't have anything to cheer about.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So let's hope that you are ready to go to work. That's real. Failure is never an option, but we're going to have to talk about what's happening. I'm curious as to Nevada's saying that they're going to have 12,000 pre-kinder seats. 12,000 pre-kinder seats Nevada-wide. And I'm saying, well, how many of them for the black children? How many of them for the poor folk? Them poor folk, poor folks. They, But, when Kamala, which Kamala I'm talking about, when Kamala just said all 3-year-olds will be enrolled in the education program in the year of 2024. And she could say that. You know why she could say that? Because she was the vice presidente of these United States. And, they like to make you look ignorant. That's what, when you say, that's why, I'm watching as the words go in and the lines go up and try not to leave you with too many blank spaces because it's a game. Games people play, night and day, they just ain't making out what they will do to keep on fooling you. Here's my trailer for my parent empowerment half an hour. So good morning and good day or good evening. It is 2022 and in America, ask who you are when you're looking in the reflection in the mirror and understand you are only who you believe you are. This is a half an hour of empowering oneself to understand that we have total control when it comes to what's happening within our own personal choices, but that's the only control you have. You have control as to how you will respond. And in America, the obligation to citizenship is that you engage in the process. So let's all stand together, shall we, to ensure access happens for the youngest and the neediest of children. In America, it's only you. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. E pluribus unum. Out of many, there's one, but out of one, there'll be none. Please like, subscribe. It said, please like, subscribe, and share. Can you do that? I've been doing this since 2022, but it is 2026. And we is at the precipice. We is right down here at 250 years of the creation of public education. And we done made all these pathways for the poor people. But somehow that money just never seems to reach them children that is generating those dollars. That money ain't coming your way. Unless your mama know. Know what, boo? Unless your mama know that failure ain't an option. But hell, they use you people like collection coins. They just chip you up. And then, there's a lot of black people that think that, you better off if you in the system. But I really can't say because there's no one watching over you then. But, I see all these mixed race, beautiful people. Beautiful people. Their skin is and glowing bronze and hair like flowing, but you don't know what they're mixed with. They're just mixed with something. They ain't all double dark chocolate. That's what I am. Dark chocolate, dark fudge. Fudgy chocolate, fudgy chocolate. Just think about that beautiful brown skin. Because that's exactly what I got, brown skin. But all my babies is brown. I didn't have no mixed white ones. But it's okay. Because in America, we just all mixed up. Did you not hear that? But you heard Kendrick, didn't you? He said they not like us, and they not. When their mama is not chocolate, they don't know who they are. But I wish a motherfucker would. Let's just say that. Because I'm ready. Did I say what I'm saying? I have struggled my whole life and fought to raise my children. And my children are raised. They're not in the penitentiary, but damn, all these black children in the juvenile facilities. But when they just going to steal 20 years of benefits, what should you say? What would you do? What can you do in America? Because you're entitled to 20 years that they ain't trying to give you. Hello, it's me. You get it? And I ain't going nowhere. Not at all. What is that tone thing? Tone is right. And echoes. Echo, echo, echo. Classroom. Oh, no, I know it's a difference in the talk when I'm very direct, as I know what I'm talking about. And as failure is just not an option, understand this in America. I am a winner. My name is Darlene Anderson, and I am 68 years old. I am living here in Las Vegas, and I'm not looking for a better half. My better half is right here with me, my children. I had 3 baby daddies. Unfortunately, they were not blessed as they did not bless themselves. You get it? Meaning that the world is what it is. But if you're given a gift, then to whom much is given, much is expected. I just said, much is expected. Apparently, they didn't do what they needed to do. But I'm not the one sitting in judgment. Just know that in this plane, they don't exist anymore. So, here I am, 68 years old, and I have a son that is 42. I have a son that is 40, and then I have a son that is 29. And I went back to school with my children. Most of you people don't even understand what I'm talking about. And I was in special ed, of course, in the United States. No, in Japan, because I had to learn. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? And you know what? Till I could say that, I couldn't go back to the classroom. I had to stay in there and have pull-out. I had speech development. And you see, this is what the federal dollars are for. So everyone can articulate the King's English. And you know, when you've been in this country as an immigrant, they give you a certain amount of time and they give you money. I mean, not money really, they give you services, but so you can transition to English. Everybody speaks English in America. Capiche? Capito? I don't know if you comprehend or not. It is what it is. Ciao, Bella. It is. Ciao, just a minute. It's hot out here. It is 105 degrees in the desert. And Viva Las Vegas. Hey. And you just have to understand, it is real. Everybody's got a thing. They sooner know how to handle it. But soon they're reaching out in vain and always worrying about smiling faces. You need to be worried because I'm just trying to understand. How is it that we done lived in this country? We done went through slavery. We done been set free, boo. They ain't hanging us on these trees anymore. However, I really just can't attest to that because Sandra Bland was a real woman. But so many young African Americans who would be boisterous, who would share their concerns about zero tolerance. You understand what I'm saying? I taught my sons to say, "Excuse me, sir, is there a problem here?" I mean, you just have to be able to be forceful to understand, trying to understand. Well, I'm just trying to understand how come they thought that they could restrict my, "Oh, you're punished for this long," or "You're punished for this long" on Facebook. Do you not understand that's why I got Zoom? Why I paid for Zoom? Because I can stream as long as I want, anywhere I choose to, on Zoom, and I paid for that. Come on and Zoom, come on and Zoom. Yeah, I paid for it. It's $160, but guess what? I can stream too on YouTube. That's right. And I don't have to ask permission, but of course you, who don't know shit, you only know what you know because you done been there before, someone shared it, or you listened. Not everybody listens. But it's okay. I understand. I do not have a problem. My children are grown. Do you understand what I'm saying? My children got the best of the best. And now they're such, everything is so tight. You heard Snoop, he said, "I'm living my best life. Ain't got time to do with you." Hey. And he meant that shit. So he don't have to because he wasn't dealing with you before, but he's into his children and whatever his children are into. Well, anybody around his children is coming up. Get ready to rumble, right? I'm telling you, my son is into gymnastics. He loves vegan food, my oldest one. My middle child, he loves comedy. He loves shows. He loves what? He just loves to be free. And he can be free. He's a great leader. People like to follow him. And my youngest one, well, people love him. They're all online asking him questions, and he does, and he tells them what to do to make their computers run perfectly. And they do. So, where do Texas politicians stand on data centers? I don't know. That's a state rights issue because we all paying for these damn data centers. It's your address in the sky. You know what I'm saying? And there is an address in the sky. But here we are. And I can talk for 90 minutes. Can I make 90 minutes? This is the challenge. I'm telling you. On my Zoom link, you'll be able to add I'm going to have to put an interest in there. Because, failure. What are we talking about? What is the value? Anybody can tell me, just inbox me and tell me what the value of the letter grade of F is, because it doesn't have a value to it. It's fraud. It stands for failure. It stands for fraud. And quite frankly, I'm just trying to understand how they thought that they could get away. Well, they were getting away with it. It's been 30 years. And they're telling me, well, it's been 30 years. It's unprovable. Oh, no, but for what you thought it was. But they didn't realize I had all of the paperwork. So I could scan it and give it back to them. Now they can figure out what they owe me because I'm entitled to some resources. And that's just real. They'll figure it out. I just really want to understand. In this process of my life's journey, where am I? And because I do have rheumatoid arthritis. This is not if I have rheumatoid arthritis. It's because I do. I need to understand the stage of development that it is in. And then I need to start preparing to do right by my body and eat right and exercise, because I don't plan on getting any heavily into medication. Because I'm already on the steroids. And I hadn't been on them for years until it flared one more time, but it has to do with the barometer. But we don't know anything. But I do know that my mother loved me. And my mother was an awesome woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? And my mama understood the baby daddy scenario because baby daddy was just not the baby mama. And baby mama has an obligation. And as a producer of a life, you do have an obligation to your children. And failure is not an option, so you need to understand that age appropriate, same age appropriate, that's where you challenge them. The challenge is on if you have a 15-year-old, and I don't care if there's another 15-year-old around, and you're offering him something, your child has the same thing, same rights to benefit. And I'm saying therein lies the trick, because it's age appropriate, same age appropriate, and it's not failure as an option. And then they have to write the goals towards age appropriate goals too. So if a 15-year-old should be learning a specific task, then they have to tell you how they have to get there. But if they're at the lower level, then they have to start from where they are and then tell you how they're going to support you making progress. And therein lies. There's no progression here. There's no data. And they don't even do the civil rights data because they think it's a joke. And it has been a joke in America. Just understand. This thing we call freedom. I thought, it's not about a thought. I did a damn good job raising my sons. I really did. Because they're not in the penitentiary. But understand this. My sons are entitled to resources. Whatever resources I would have been entitled to. And I'm looking for them. Because it is what it is. Reality. It's just reality. So when you don't understand, that anything is possible, and I just mean anything is possible, but it's only possible if you believe. And, I chair the committee for Title I and compensatory dollars in Sacramento City Unified School District. And I chaired it for more than 4 years, it seems like. But where does the time just go? I don't even know. But, I had people, other parents who wanted to volunteer, and they were volunteering. And they were holding the district accountable, and we were all holding the district accountable as we were holding them accountable for the data. Data. And so we would take all of the sixth graders and see where they were and to make sure that they had access to the same resources and benefits. And so, if one school had a library, all schools had a library. If you wanted to give schools libraries, then everybody had to have a library. That's what the state does. It equals up the resources. But you people, you didn't put the babies on a bus for more than 50 minutes. Did you not know that's criminal? No, because, you didn't have to put them on the bus. And we're going to have to rethink this education thing because AI is here. Hello. And we could get these kids moving in front of a TV screen. And we can engage them and we can see them and we can watch them. And y'all already knew all the issues during COVID because we could see what was going on. What work needed to be done. But guess you motherfuckers didn't even plan to get any of the work done. You just started taking people's children. Because you could. Because you could see. Perhaps marijuana smoking was going on in there. Who knows? Because, it smells on the children. You can help the parents. Teach them how to, advocate for themselves. But, honey, what can I tell you? You're only going to believe what you're going to believe. But know this. Freedom was never free. And I am 68. Yes, I am. And I got to think about, something I want to sing. These boots were made for walking, and that's what they're gonna do. 'Cause one of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep singing what you ought not be doing. But whatever you're doing, it just ain't right. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get me a whatever, yeah. And I'm saying this just ain't right. 'Cause these boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. 'Cause one of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. You know, this thing that they got. I found love on a two-way street. This thing that they got. 'Cause they're watching us all. Trump makes fresh threats towards Canada and Greenland. Greenland too? Oh, Lord. Did he not know Greenland is up there and Europe is over Greenland? Is he trying to go to war with Europe? I don't know what he's trying to do. But I do know that we're going to have to talk about the babies. And I'm going to have to pause for a moment because the helicopter is going over.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. I do believe we have a quorum. A few housekeeping measures I want to go over. Please be sure to mute your microphone when you are not speaking to try to minimize any background noise. Our committee policy analyst, Mr. Patrick Heinen, is going to call the roll. To the meeting of the interim, going to call the roll. Everyone who is connected via the internet to the meeting of the interim legislative committee on child welfare and juvenile justice. My name is James Lawrenshaw. I'm the state senator for State Senate District 21. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I do believe we have a quorum. A few housekeeping measures I want to go over. Please be sure to mute your microphone when we're not speaking to try to minimize any background noise. Our committee policy analyst, Mr. Patrick Heinen, is going to call the roll. Mr. Heinen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Patrick Heinen, committee policy analyst. Senator Kinsella. Here. Thank you. Senator Hammond. Here. Assemblywoman Anderson. Assemblywoman Marino. Here. Assemblywoman Torres. Chair Lawrenshaw. President. Thank you, Mr. Guiden. Mr. Guiden, please mark any members who might be arriving after your roll call is present when they arrive. For anyone listening, I want to remind them that minutes of the meeting are produced in a summary format and are not verbatim. Meeting materials can be accessed on the committee's webpage. Anyone who would like to receive electronic notification of and access to the committee's agendas, minutes, and our final report can do so by signing up on the Nevada Legislature's website. The committee will be taking one vote today, and only one vote, to approve the minutes of our previous meeting, and we will conduct that vote by a roll call. There will be a public comment period at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting, which will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. This new virtual meeting format is important to keep everyone safe during this pandemic, and I want everyone to know that public comment may be provided in 4 different ways, all of which have been listed on the agenda. Anyone who wants to provide public comment can call via telephone at area code 669-900-6833 and enter the meeting ID 999-3261-7913. Public can also email comments to the following email address: childwelfarejuvenile, that's childwelfarejuvenile, @ lcb.state.mb.us. Public can send written comments via the mail to the Legislative Council Bureau Research Division. #401 South Carson Street, City, Nevada, zip code 8970-684-6600. With that, let's get started. I'd like to move to agenda item 2, public comment. As I said earlier, public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Staff will time each speaker during public comment to ensure that everyone is given a fair opportunity to speak. An additional opportunity to make public comment will also be available at the end of the meeting. Legislative Council Bureau's Broadcast and Production Services staff will interact with anyone who wishes to make public comment and provide testimony to facilitate participation in the meeting. Staff in our Broadcast and Production Services, please add the first caller with public comment to the meeting. And for everyone watching, listening, there'll be a pause for us to get those calls in here in the meeting. Good morning, Chairman Orchel. The public comment line is open and working. However, there are no callers at this time. Thank you very much. And again, I want to remind anyone listening or watching that there will be an opportunity for public comment also at the end of the meeting. Seeing that there's no one wishing to make public comment now, I'd like us to move to agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes for the meeting that was held on June the 19th, 2020. All members should have had access to the draft minutes, which have been posted on the committee's page, along with all of the documents for this meeting. I would accept a motion to approve the minutes. So moved. I have a motion from Senator Hammond. Is there a second? Second. I have a second from Vice Chairman Moreno. Is there any discussion on the motion? Nothing, any discussion? Mr. Guyan, would you please take a roll call vote? Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, for the record, Patrick Guyan, Committee Policy Analyst. This is the roll call vote to approve the minutes on June 19th. Senator Kinsella? Yes. Senator Hammond? Yes. Chair Orchel? Yes. Vice Chairman Moreno? Yes. First of vote, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Guyan, and thank you, members. That motion passes unanimously. And now, we will move on our agenda. And move on to agenda item number 3. For the agenda item number 4, we have a presentation on juvenile justice issues in Nevada in relation to the committee's current study of juvenile detention in Nevada, pursuant to Senate Bill 449 of the 2019 regular session. And we're very privileged to have two really tremendous practitioners here in Nevada, both from South and the North. Attorneys that I've known for many years and have the privilege of working with. We have Bridget Duffy, Director of the Juvenile Division Office of the Clark County District Attorney, and we have Jolie Wicks, Chief Deputy District Attorney, Juvenile Division, Office of the Washoe County District Attorney. Hopefully you're connected, and if not, let us know if you need any help with technical issues, but we appreciate you being here. I think I am. This is kind of a weird format, so I'm assuming you can see me. Good morning, Chair Orenshaw. Good morning, Ms. Duffy. Good to see you. Okay. And I see my counterpart, Ms. Wicks, is on. And then the other members of the committee, good morning. I don't see you. Weird, I can only see a big self of me. So I assume the rest of the committee is able to see and hear me at this time. In relation to the committee's current study of juvenile detention in Nevada, pursuant to Senate Bill 449 of the 2019 regular session. And we're very privileged to have two really tremendous practitioners here in Nevada, both from South and the North. Attorneys that I've known for many years and have the privilege of working with. We have Bridget Duffy, Director of the Juvenile Division Office of the Clark County District Attorney, and we have Jolie Wicks, Chief Deputy District Attorney, Juvenile Division, Office of the Washoe County District Attorney. Hopefully you're connected, and if not, let us know if you need any help with technical issues, but we appreciate you being here. I think I am. This is kind of a weird format, so I'm assuming you can see me. Good morning, Chair Orenshaw. Good morning, Ms. Duffy. Good to see you. Okay. And I see my counterpart, Ms. Wicks, is on. And then the other members of the committee, good morning. I don't see you. It's weird, I can only see a big self of me. So I assume the rest of the committee is able to see and hear me at this time. I can see you, members, if anyone is having trouble getting either Miss Duffy or Miss Wicks or if broadcast is noticing any difficulties, please let us know. But I see Miss Duffy, and I think that, we're okay. Okay, today's so this is this, and if you can inform Miss Duffy that she can always reconfigure on that Zoom so that she can see all of us. So when I make a face, she'll know when I'm making a face. Well, I think you're better Zoom than I am. I'm actually watching it in the little chat rooms. I see all the people reading it. If I have to pull up the other screen, right? To see everybody else. I can see you, Ms. Duffy. I can't see Ms. Wicks, but maybe that's because she's not speaking right now. I think it's on speaker view. Alright, so I don't want to, you have a very large agenda, so I don't want to hold it up trying to figure out technology, because I'll be here for a long time, but good morning, Chairman Shaw and members of the Interim Committee on Child Welfare and Juvenile Justice. I am Bridget Duffy. I am the Director of the Juvenile Division for the Clark County District Attorney's Office, and I am very honored to be here this morning in this one of the final meetings, I believe, of our interim session, and I'll allow Ms. Wicks to introduce herself.
Good morning, Chairman Shaw and meeting members. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this morning. My name is Shelley Wicks. I am the Chief Deputy District Attorney for the Juvenile Division in Washoe County, and I've been in the juvenile prosecutor for approximately 21 years.
So first off, I would like to start by following up where I left off last meeting, which was in public comment. So I'm still sitting in my chair in my office at the DA's juvenile division because I put my career on the line with regard to a presentation in discussion about a young child that was in adult prison for stealing a cell phone. So as I stated in public comment, I was highly concerned that my office would do anything like that. My division, I should say my division, I take full responsibility for the 9 delinquency deputies that report to me. And what I had discovered, which was what I suspected, is it wasn't just, there was a cell phone that was stolen involved. However, there was also firearms involved and other facts in that case. Not to mention, I was still unable to get the name of that child despite asking several times so that I could pull the case into a personal review. So I was unable to even get a response with the name of that child so that I could do that. But I at least feel more comfortable knowing that whatever the real facts of that case are, there was a firearm involved. Because I would know in my career I would not send a child to adult prison just for snatching somebody's cell phone. So I'm still sitting here today because I feel I honored what I said I would do, and that would put my career on the fact that there is way more. So there are 3 points that were made by Judge Walker at the last meeting that I really wanted, that stood out to me, and I wanted to start our presentation with. That really flow into AB 449 from last session. One was, he made a point about if we reduce the number of kids coming into the system, we will address our brick and mortar issues. That is a necessity, and we know our state's unprecedented economic crisis and budget cuts are already going to impact those number of beds. Second, he made a point about we wanting our children to leave the system better than when they came into the system, and we want healthier children. And third, we need alternatives to detention. We need community-based programs, because they are better than detention. Those 3 points from Judge Walker stood out to me, and I want to follow up with them on the perspective of the prosecutors on brick and mortar issues in AB 449. So point number 1, if we reduce the number of kids coming into our system, we're going to reduce the brick and mortar issues. That to me is the word prevention. And if we do prevent children from entering the juvenile justice system, we will prevent victims and we will keep our community safer. So we need early identification of needs and supportive services. So in AB 449, subsection 1C, it talks about our ability to provide programming to families and children. It talks about community engagement. So here in Clark County, with the support of this legislature, we have opened now 4 harbors. We opened up one yesterday on the east side. Very, very proud of that. Despite our pandemic, we had a great ceremony in honor of opening of that program. We've served close to 14,600 children. We have a 92% success rate. So we knew, when I say we, I'm talking about myself and the juvenile justice system, Director Martin and his team. We knew our success rate. We've been toning it at 96. When you're dealing with this many children, and now our years are going up, we're talking about 4 years now, we knew our success rate was going to start dwindling down, but in 4 years, we're still in the 90% success rate, so 92%, that's really good. So we only have juvenile assessment centers in Clark County, and I think there's potentially a need across the state for similar programming. The state is a partner in the harbors, and so I think we could look at it as a statewide program to go out, because again, prevention is very key in having to address some drinking water issues. If we talk about getting in early and having early interventions, then we're not really having any more conversations about the deep end of children and entering our system. We also in Clark County, as far as prevention, are ramping up our truancy prevention outreach program, which is being started by the generosity of the AB 309 money, which was some marijuana tax money provided which we are getting through our Clark County Commission to start this prevention outreach program. We are hiring community navigators to go into homes, meet with families, engage children, provide services in an effort to keep kids in school. Ultimately, we need to address an emerging issue within our state. It's a worldwide crisis. It's a pandemic. And for those of us who are committed to our state, we need to address it in our state. Our juvenile justice leaders are trying to address it here now. Our family services leaders are making efforts to address it now. And how do we as a community keep that school prison pipeline from flooding? We are the 5th largest school district in the country in Clark County. And we have 100% disengagement from school at this time. And it's necessary, and it's necessary for the health and safety of children. But this committee and those members of it and other committees have heard the school to prison pipeline. That buzz phrase, it means kids who are not engaged in school go to prison. It means that kids who are excluded from school because of exclusionary practices end up in prison. Suspensions, expulsions. That's why over the years we've been addressing mandated suspensions and expulsions little by little. And now, because of health and safety of families and children, we have 100% disengagement. And we really need to focus on that. Otherwise, we will not break that cycle of poverty, and we will not break that cycle of prison. And when I say education, I don't just mean academics. I mean our career readiness education. Not all kids are going to get the same education, and not all education is appropriate for kids. You know, some kids really need that career readiness, but they're all disengaged from that as well. And in the last meeting, we discussed that the pandemic presented opportunities to change juvenile justice reform in a positive direction. When that was stated, it was really to discuss the fact that we are reducing the number of kids coming into juvenile detention facilities, basically reducing our beds in our first response lockdown facilities. So when a kid is arrested, they're coming to juvenile detention, and we're reducing that number coming into that facility. And it feels good to say, hey, we don't need as many beds because we're not bringing as many kids in, and it shows an opportunity because maybe our community, we're showing that it's not as bad to not bring kids into detention. But to me, the fact is if we continue for too long with 100% disengagement because we do not have a vaccination or we do not have a way to socially distance children and keep them and families safe, that good feeling is not going to last very long because that disengagement is going to cause us to need more beds. Not to mention that the number one risk factor on a high-risk child that ends up in our high-end facilities like Elko, Summit View, and Caliente, their number one risk factor is a lack of enrichment activities and extracurricular activity. So all of those kids that we deem at risk and that we put into sports and arts, music, whatever it is, they are now tilted over into the risk category because schools are unable to provide that for them and families cannot afford it on their own. So now we are going to have this flood if we do not act quickly and act fast. So, ultimately, in AB 449, Section 1B, it talks about a review of the adequacy of our current capacities in institutions and facilities. And we know, and you'll probably hear later in this meeting, that we are reducing the number of beds because of budget cuts. And that's, and you know, I always say, if we have beds, we'll fill them. When you spring up the new camp has 100 beds, we've reduced those now down to, I believe, 60. We're shutting down 2 dorms, so that's 40 beds a dorm. That's a budgetary issue. So we will now fill 60 beds. Now, take another 20, we'll probably fill 40 beds, so that's all great. But again, if we don't address our immediate concerns with prevention and engagement of kids, we're going to need those beds. We need to get in early, and we really need to get in strong. Because the further we go down the road with children not being in school, the worse it's going to be for our community and ultimately those kids. So the other conversation that we had, and Julie, I don't know if you want to add any of that, but I know we're going to have we're going to talk quickly about direct file use and certifications with regard to what we need to address in AB 449. Did you want to jump in on any of that before we go to our direct files and certs?
Tony Wicks for the record, just very briefly, Marshall County has been involved in detention reform since approximately 2004. We have made concerted efforts to develop a specialty court in the practice around originally the crossover youth model, and since 2013, I believe, Project One, which focuses on children who are both in the abuse and neglect system and delinquency system. I know that we're joined this morning by Mr. Frank Cervantes, who is the Director of Marshall County Juvenile Services. They have an entire community outreach department, and they have robust prevention models that they use. For the most part, many of the cases that are referred to Washington County never make it to the district attorney's office because Mr. Cervantes and his staff have a robust process of assessing and diverting children before they ever come to us. I fully support everything that Ms. Stephanie has stated this morning, and we'll add additional comments as we proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Yes.
Yes. Members, are there any questions at this point from Ms. Duffy or Ms. Wicks? If not, I just had a quick question. I'm sorry, the statistics on recidivism, does that mean that a child who's been through the prevention program, the harbor, doesn't end up with a case being filed in juvenile court? Is that how you get to that number? Can you just explain that? If there's any other questions, please go ahead. I'm unmuted. So, Chair Orenshaw, thank you for the question. Bridget Duffy for the record. I'm going to try to remember to do that even though I'm not sitting in front of you. The number for recidivism, I haven't given a number. Are you talking about my YLS on the high-risk kids? I'm sorry, at the beginning of your presentation, I thought I heard 96% success rate. Is that for children? Okay. Yeah, so that's the Harvard kids. So yes, thank you, Bridget Duffy for the record. Thanks for the clarification, Chair Orenshaw. So the 92% success rate, how we measure that, that includes law enforcement drop-offs as well as walk-ins or community referrals to the Harvard program. So these would be first-time misdemeanor offenders, or in fact, we've expanded the program, and because sometimes it takes one kid maybe 2 or 3 times to get it in their head. So those would be our misdemeanor levels or our felonies and gross misdemeanors with DA approval. So how we're measuring that rate is, do those children after the intervention of the Harvard end up in the juvenile justice system? And at this point, with close to 15,000 children, at the time I mapped out my presentation, we're at 14,600. So only 8% have entered into the system of that 14,600 and change children. So it's only in the very beginning stages that they end up in the system. And when I say end up in the system, they have additional charges. It may not be a petition filed. It may be that they just end up with a new citation and go to probation intake services. Not all of those ended up with an actual petition. And thank you for clarifying that. And those are fantastic numbers. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Very much for clarifying that. Members, any additional questions either for yes, Vice Chair, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for the beginning of this presentation. But I just had a question. When you talk about tracking, is that tracking the child until they reach age 18? Is it tracking them for a year? How long does that tracking take place to get to that 8% that actually go into the system?
So we're tracking longer than you know, for the record, and thank you for the question. Co-Chair Monroe Marino, I believe you are Co-Chair. So we track longer than a year. It's any time after they've been seen that they end up coming into the system. So that's why we believe we probably will have a little bit higher of a rate eventually. We are hopeful because our case management out of the harbor really continues to touch that family and reach out to that family and hope that the family knows they can reach back out to the harbor if there are issues going on with the child. But we do continue to track that way past a year, so it would be any time. So it could be a child that was seen in 2016 that enters the system in 2020, and we would consider that then as part of that. Well, it was deemed a recidivism rate, but I would deem it a penetration into the system rate.
Okay, thank you.
So in the last, yes, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Duffy. There was any additional questions for Ms. Duffy on this list? I'll see you. Please continue. Thank you. So the last, yes, thank you, Chair Orenshaw, Bridget Duffy, again for the record. At the last meeting, there was a presentation that discussed both direct filing, which is the bypass of juvenile court jurisdiction, meaning the juvenile court does not have jurisdiction over certain offenses. There are several offenses, but the main offenses that are bypassed of the juvenile system are murder and attempt murder if the juvenile is age 16 or 17, or if the juvenile age 16 or 17 has a prior felony on their juvenile record and they commit an offense that involves a firearm. So those are our top three referrals that end up in the criminal system without coming back into the juvenile system. There were some comments made at the last meeting regarding the point of direct filing youth to the adult system, and really an answer of not really understanding what that point is. Why do we even do it at all? And there was also a statistic that was provided about a 35% recidivism rate of children that enter the adult system. I'm not sure where that statistic came from. I don't know if that's Nevada specific. I'd love to learn more about that. But I agree that the adult system is not known for its rehabilitative qualities. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So why do we have direct file into the adult system is the question that was hanging out there at the last meeting. And so Ms. Wixon, I would like to kind of talk to you about some of the issues that would need to be addressed in the juvenile justice system in order to address that question. One of them being competency and our need for a better system of competency for children and better services for mental health for children and mental health beds for children that are deemed incompetent. And again, the lack of brick and mortar issue to address where we house children that are 17 that commit a homicide, that commit murder. Like, what do? We don't have anything but programmatic-based placements, and only one that's locked down. As to competency, when you go back and review Assembly Bill 449, subsection 1G asks for a review of competency and mental health facilities and how do we have that level of treatment for juveniles in our juvenile justice system. And when I supported AB 449, that was one of my asks, of the ACLU was to put that study in there. Because I've been trapped in cases where children were 16 or 17, were 15, they were 15 on a certification and committed an attempt murder, firing a weapon into an occupied apartment and shooting multiple people. That 15-year-old was deemed incompetent and so could not assist his attorney at the hearing for certification. And I had several victims of a shooting. And we ended up not having a mental health bed to put this child in. No residential treatment facility would take the child because he did not have an Axis 1 diagnosis and was deemed too violent to go to a mental health residential treatment program. He languished in juvenile detention for months and months and months while we tried to figure out what to do, which is not good either. Because he was deemed to be a danger to the community. Ultimately, with our backs against the wall, we released him home on GPS, only when he was returning to school to be found with another firearm on him. He had a propensity to want to be around guns, so we still could not restore him to competency to help his attorney with the defense. So we had this child that was in no man's land and nothing in the state that could assist, and nothing out of state that could assist. So I had victims of a shooting that I had to tell, I don't know what we're going to do. And that's a tough place to be in. And I believe I'll have Ms. Wicks add, because she and I have had some really great conversations around this competency issue. But I think to be responsible in the decisions that we make around direct files and certifications, we need to build a system that addresses how we handle children that are making very poor, impulsive decisions that take the life or almost take the life of another human being who has family, who has loved ones. And all we can say to that victim is, I don't know what we're going to do, because it's a juvenile and they're not competent to stand trial. In the adult system, they go to Lakes Crossing, and at Lakes Crossing, they respond to competency pretty darn quick. We do not have that here. So we have to really address that prior to really looking at how we're going to handle dwindling or taking away direct files. Because if I have a 16 or a 17-year-old that commits a homicide and they are deemed incompetent, even if it's their first offense, I don't know what we will do with that person, that child, and I don't know what we tell that victim. So Jolie, I'm going to pass it off to you to pick up on your experiences with competency in juveniles.
Thank you. Jolie Wicks for the record. I echo Ms. Duffy's concerns. Obviously, because of the size of Washoe County, we have far fewer examples. Nothing as horrific as what Ms. Duffy has described here this morning. I've been involved in trying to, first of all, develop a juvenile competency statute probably since the early 2000s. Susan Roski, who was the chief public defender many years ago, was on a small subcommittee with me when we started working on these issues. So the good news is we have a juvenile competency statute. The sad news, which is not only sad for the juveniles who may be involved in these types of offenses, but honestly a burden on our communities, is the fact that we do not have access to resources to attain or restore competency, and it's a critically important issue for our community going forward. My experience over the last 21 years is that juvenile prosecutors in the two major counties are not lock them up and throw away the key kind of people. What we want to do is to provide appropriate responses to children, help them attain the skills that they need so that we can prevent future harm, prevent future delinquency, and prevent future impacts to their families and our communities. What we really need in juvenile justice in order to address direct file are competent competency resources for competency development and the ability to keep a juvenile safe during that process. It obviously doesn't behoove anybody for us to have no ability to help restore a child to competency or help them attain competency, while we also have no choice but to put them back out on the street where they are endangering their own lives and the lives of other people.
So what she's really talking about when she keeps on using this word competency, she means that getting to a level which they can be sustaining themselves. And, I'd like to see that definition of competency aligned with dollars to determine exactly where they're going with this. Because I wasn't in the room this meeting when it happened, because I didn't see it in the future post. But I'm sure it was posted somewhere, I'm sure. Anyways, we'll continue to listen, shall we?
It's an untenable situation for the child and for the community and possible future victims. So competency is a critical piece of addressing that question about direct file. Even perhaps some legislation about access to a rates crossing type facility, but obviously we know that there are severe budget constraints in the state of Nevada, which have existed in juvenile justice for my entire career, and are only worsened by the current situation caused by the pandemic.
I appreciate you going over that. One question I have, example, there are many, and so this based on this stuff here, both in your practice as prosecutors, have you seen many cases where a child, the allegations against them could get them direct filed in an adult system, but there are competency issues, or is it happening a lot?
This is breaking down the record. So I have, because direct files bypass me and go directly to the criminal system, and then we see them maybe for a little minute when they spend one night in juvenile and then they go downtown. I have not heard that any of the children that have been direct filed have competency issues that are being dealt with at Links Crossing. I know one case where a child raised competency after he had killed his own father, but I believe that case he came back to be competent. So that was the only case I've heard of in my I've been sitting in this chair as director for 8+ years now, so I haven't heard of any of those issues. They are coming up in the form of our certification issues, which is what pointed out the fact that we have a hole in our system. And if we don't address it, even in the areas where prosecutors may support removing a direct file from statute, unless we address this part first, it's not responsible of us to do that. Because there is no place for this treatment or these children to go. And unfortunately, our children that are incompetent are probably our most dangerous ones, because they're not absorbing any. And that's why I use my one example, because even when given the opportunity to go back into the community while facing 6 counts of attempted murder on a GPS monitor, he still found his way to another handgun. And if he's incompetent and impulsive and is not fully developed in his brain capacity, that's a difficult thing for the community on our watch. So we have to be really cautious to make sure we build that program before we take steps that make us, I'm all about reform. I'm all about redefining justice and really helping kids to be better citizens. But I also feel like for our community, we need to make sure we have the infrastructure before we do that. I mean, imagine this 17-year-old out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Imagine if, he just took a long rifle, shot it into a crowd, killing people. Imagine if he's deemed, in our state, if he was deemed incompetent, we'd be telling those people we're sorry, there's nothing we can do. There's no place for him. We can't just hold him in jail waiting trial.
like he has to, we're going to just send him home and GPS monitor. It's something we really need to address, and I think after my case with that one kiddo, it was an emergency and everybody was trying to address it, but it kind of fell by the wayside, and I think we need to address it. And I look forward to this legislature, looking into that, waiting for the ACLU to come back with their AB, or I'm not sure who's doing the audit, but that AB 449 report, they're supposed to come back and give you a report of what that looks like. I'm still waiting for it, and I want to hear it, because we need help there, and that's what that report was about. I know everybody likes stats, so I will let you all know that in 2019, Clark County had 34 direct files. 21 of those were for firearm use, and they had prior felonies in the juvenile justice system. To further break that 21 down for you, 13 of the 21 were 17-year-olds. They had an average of 5 prior offenses. I actually removed, when I reviewed them, I removed all of the violations of probation or parole offenses. These are 5 prior substantive charges, not violations of any type of parole or probation. So they had 5 substantive charges for average. Of that 21 with firearm use with prior felonies, 6 of them, there were 8 16-year-olds, 8 16-year-olds, and 2 of them, they averaged 2 prior offenses. And again, I took out all the violations of probation and paroles. For the murder and attempt murder, we had 13 were murder or attempt murder that were 16 and 17 years old. And the glaring difference between the two is the murder and attempt murders had less average prior offenses. A lot of our murder and attempt murders have 0 to 1 or 2 prior offenses before they pull the trigger. So that's our direct file stats. I'm going to move on to certification unless Jolie has anything to add regarding direct files.
Jolie Wicks for the record, very quickly, with regard to direct file, I think that one of the primary foundational issues that would have to be addressed is the jurisdictional age limits for juvenile court. Right now, juvenile court primarily loses jurisdiction with some exceptions for youth who have been adjudicated on certain sex offenses at the age of 21. So part of what we would need to tackle, in my opinion, to really do a good job of revamping direct file is to expand the jurisdiction of juvenile court in order to allow more juveniles to stay in the juvenile justice system and to have a court with expanded jurisdiction so you have more time to address very significant needs and very significant risk factors. To keep a 16-year-old, for instance, who is guilty of murder, when the court's going to lose jurisdiction after 5 years, does not bode well for that person's success or recidivism going forward, and it certainly doesn't provide justice to the victims or provide ongoing community safety. It's simply not enough time, in my opinion, to address the very significant needs that juvenile would present going forward. So competency is a huge issue, as Ms. Duffy stated. Housing and the ability to provide specialized programming for these very high-risk youth who have really engaged in some very thankfully unique dangerous behavior, which is clearly a concern to the community, but also expanded juvenile court jurisdiction so that we have more time to address those issues.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wicks, and thank you, Ms. Duffy. And I appreciate the statistics. I think the whole committee does know. We can look into those numbers. If you could send those to Mr. Hyden and the chair of the committee, I think that would be great. And if there's any additional data about incompetency, whether they've been able to report the child incompetency on cases, maybe when they're seeking certification in the adult system, I think that would be appreciated too. And if there's any breakdown from Ms. Mix or shall they proceed with their presentation?
Mr. Chair, I do have one question from Ms. Lynn.
I can't tell. Oh, pardon me, Chairman O'Brien, I'm sorry.
It's okay, maybe I should say who I am before we start, since we are virtually. Just a quick question. I know a lot of thought and effort and research into the expanded jurisdiction for juvenile court. Ideally, what would you like to see? Or ideally, what is shown to be the best number for that expanded juvenile? Thank you for the question. Joey Ricks for the record. I think that a good place to start is approximately 25 years old. I think that there's some brain science around that number, but there are some other jurisdictions, for instance, California. I was a former public defender in California. I don't know the state of California law, but I believe that they have been using 25 previously. I think at least 25 is a good place to start the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chairman.
If I may add to that, I think I agree that as we look toward that 25 years old is definitely that number. I think the issue around expanding jurisdiction is it's going to become a money issue. It's going to become a money issue. It's going to become figuring out how to reallocate money from one form of probation that deals with adults to a juvenile form of probation. And it's going to become a training issue around, they are adults. So there's a lot that goes into that expansion. So also we have to think about facilities themselves and what that looks like as far as not commingling the youth that we have in there that we're trying to prevent from ending up in the adult system to those that are making adult type crimes into that system.
The reality is they're just transitioning them from juvenile to prison.
Thank you, Ms. Duffy. Thank you, Ms. Wicks. And thank you, Vice Chairman O'Brien. Members, any additional questions? Seeing none, we'll please continue with the presentation.
So I'm going to wrap it up just because, again, I know you all like stats and Chairwoman Shaw, I will definitely send to you what I have. I have it breaking down by race and gender. We did have one female that was direct filed in 2019. But I always say, I'm going to say it on the record out loud publicly, and then I'll put it in my presentation. We do not have a case management system in the juvenile division of the Clark-County DA's office. We share Family Tracks 2.0 or Tyler Supervision, it's called, with Juvenile Justice Services. They do not keep direct file stats because they go to the adult system. So what I have is hand-kept by one of my best secretaries. So it's plus or minus. He tracks them. I even can tell you their outcome in the adult system. So I have it broken down to what their, if they pled and what their ultimate sentence was. So I will get that to you. I've said it publicly, and now I'm going to put it as a footnote at the bottom of my stats to you. This is hand-kept, and it might be plus or minus 1 or 2. Proven error. So certification, I just want to just give you our statistics. It was mentioned at the last meeting during the conflict attorney and public defender's presentation. In Clark County in 2019, there were 11,000 children plus, 11,000 plus children referred to the juvenile justice system. That referral, the way we count them in Clark, is basically a citation or an arrest, so it could be a ticket or an arrest. Of that, the DA's office only filed 3,851. We didn't even file half of the kids that came into the system, somehow, some way. Most of them would have been diverted. Some of them we would have just denied outright, but most of those would have been diverted away from this justice system. So we only filed 3,851 petitions in 2019. Of that, we filed 205 motions to certify children. 205 children fit the statute for certification, and we filed that motion. That is 0.05%.
Of that 205, 42 children were certified to the adult system. That is, of the 205, that's 0.2%. Overall, that's 0.01% of the children that we filed petitions on went to the adult system.